Hey everyone, I'm Blake Mayer, and this is Module 5 for AEP 800. And through the articles that we read, some things that stuck out to me were the lack ofs that they spoke of. A big one, and it's pretty obvious, is the lack of time. Everybody knows as a teacher, finding time to integrate technology and to experiment with technology is pretty difficult. I know from personal experience, I'm grading over 100 research essays right now, so finding time to sit down and do my own research on new technologies that are out there proves to be challenging. Outside of time, being able to train is a huge issue. We do have people in place in my district that are willing to help train, but again, finding time to do that is a problem. And a short demonstration at an in-service meeting probably isn't going to cut it if we're going to keep up with the advancements in technology. The tech support issues that they spoke of, luckily at Chapman, we have a really great tech support system, and you can text them and they will be in your room in a matter of minutes most of the time. I understand that that's not the case for a lot of people, especially if you're in a rural school and it's, might be spread out over a couple of schools and you have limited tech support people on your campus. That would be a huge issue. So if you're trying to plan a lesson and the tech is what's driving the lesson and it doesn't work, it can ruin a day pretty fast. So I understand that that is an issue. Something that was disturbing was not having administrative support for innovations in technology. And it's hard to imagine this day and age that administration wouldn't be behind you, but I understand what the article is saying, that this technology hasn't really proven to increase test scores and things like that, which we do have to look at it as administrators. But hopefully, as these things start to seep into the classroom more and more, then it will just be a way of life, and administration will have to be on board and figure out how to use it to the best of its ability. Obviously, money and funding would be an issue. I'm lucky enough to be in a district that has 21st century technology, but especially in rural areas, getting that kind of technology could be an issue, and finding funding for that could be an issue anywhere. So definitely a problem in my area, at least. And I think changing the culture is a huge key to integrating technology in the classroom. Getting parents to understand that their kids might be playing on their phones, but if you give them a question, they're so efficient at using their phones, they can find that question faster than I can or you can. So getting them to understand that the technology is just a part of their lives now and that they can use it efficiently if they're put on the right path. I think if we can get parents to realize that, then the change will be a smoother process. And you also have to have a community and an administration that's willing to embrace a vision of innovation. If you're not innovating and you're not keeping up with the times, then you're not doing your job as an administrator, and you're doing a disservice to the kids. So the video about ICT adoption issues, I definitely understand what she's saying about primary schools being able to spend more time with their kids and get the process down when using technology. My classroom, our classes are 47 minutes long, and I know that I use technology in a different way than other teachers use theirs. So kids understanding what is expected in each class is kind of an issue, where if you had everybody all day, that system would be in place and it would be something that would be more streamlined. So I think a part of the problem is getting everybody on the same page from an early age, and then if they can continue to be on the same page throughout every class, primary and secondary, that would help. And something that was pretty interesting to me was the Open Education Resources article. I know a lot of people are resistant to that, but I think if it's used in the right way, there's nothing but positive benefits that could come from it. There are a lot of educators out there with a lot more experience than me, and if they're willing to offer up their resources, why not view them? I mean, I don't have to use them, but if it's out there, it would at least be worth a look to see if there's anything that I can use or anything that is being used in a better way than I'm currently doing. So the digital divide, unfortunately, I don't think that it can be solved right now. I think that there are too many issues with economic disparities between our students. And as much as I would love to help them and their home situation, there's only so much that we can do. So I try to keep instruction in my classroom where they do have access to the same internet and apps and things like that. So I'm at least giving them the opportunity in my class that every other student has. Um, it's a shame that a lot of them can't do things at home while others can. But until we can fix each individual situation financially or just logistically, if they live somewhere where it's not accessible, then we're going to have to try to tailor our classrooms to fit that. And the best way that I can think of it is to keep as much of what I'm doing in my classroom in the classroom so they have those options. So some important skill sets for the 21st century students. A big thing for me is digital citizenship. I don't think that they realize that not everything is Snapchat and that what they say is there and then it's gone and then everything's okay. They need to realize that what they put on the internet is going to be on the internet and it has the potential to be viewed by thousands of people. And you can see it now with things like Twitter and people digging up old tweets on athletes. You know, this great moment is ruined by things that they said 5 years ago. So trying to get kids to understand that their words have an impact and those words will be around for later dates when they don't want them around. I think that's very important. I also want them to be able to find legitimate sources. They have the access to any database that they could possibly imagine on their phone. So being able to research and find the answers you're looking for yourself is huge. We're currently doing a research project and I'm finding that they are using sites that they might agree with or that their family might agree with, and they're taking that as the only word, and if you disagree, you're wrong. What they don't understand is that when they click on those sites, then everything that comes up on their newsfeed is going to support that site or that view. So I want them to be able to use technology to research for themselves, to form their own opinions, and then to be able to communicate that effectively with people they may disagree with. That's my ultimate goal, is to send these kids out into the world being able to communicate at a high level, because that's such an important skill no matter what career path they might choose down the road. So the impact the global economy has had on my personal use of the internet. I've been pretty fortunate to grow up in a hardworking family that's afforded me the opportunity to grow up using the internet. I currently try to keep myself able financially to have things like high-speed internet and things like that. So with everybody gaining access to social media and things like that, it's easy to stay connected, it's easy to communicate, and it's easy to find new ways to approach the classroom setting, which is what I've really been using the internet for the past few years, is improving my teaching methods in my classroom. So some training that I still need. I use Google Classroom every day, and I'm still finding out that I'm not using it the right way. There are constant updates, and I think that I need to become more efficient and I need to make things easier for the kids when it comes to Google Classroom, because we use it every day. And while I think that I'm doing an okay job, I understand that I could be making the process a lot easier. So I still need to continue to improve with Google Classroom. And personally, I would like to improve with research resources. Just finding the database is fine, but I really want to be able to teach kids how to use each and every database to the best of its ability, which is tough because there are a lot of them out there, but that's something that I need to continue to train with. So Chapman, our technology situation, with each classroom is equipped with an Apple TV and then a Casio projector to use that Apple TV, and I use it every day. It's on the second that I walk into the room, and I really don't know what I would do without it. We use it for demonstrations and videos and everything, so I can't imagine having to teach in a time or a situation where I don't have something like that to utilize. I don't understand how people did it before. My hat goes off to them, but just having this technology now and thinking about what is coming in the future, I'm very fortunate and lucky to be teaching during this time. So So some advantages of innovative strategies. I think it will help us continue to keep up with the world. I'm a firm believer that the world is never going to slow down for anybody, so we need to continue to keep our kids at that same pace, or at least set them up to succeed in that world. So if we're trying to innovate, then we're at least trying to improve, which is the ultimate goal. It's helping me realize new ways to instruct, being able to send the kids an app or a program and have them figure things out for themselves. That's doing a lot more than me standing at the front of the room giving direct instruction all the time. And a lot of those lessons are fun. I mean, if you can give them a fun way to express themselves, like with Adobe Spark or something like that, if you want to allow them to express themselves creatively, then you have that option where that wasn't available before. And I think it kind of levels the playing field somewhat. If you're trying to innovate and bring every kid up to speed, then every kid has a baseline skill set with technology when they enter the real world. So I think it's important to keep innovating and to keep our kids in the loop. Some disadvantages, I think that you're going to see some pushback or resistance from the community. You have a lot of people out there that don't like change because they don't understand it. They think that the kids are just playing when they're at school, and they don't realize that what might have taken them a little while to find in a book, these kids can find in 3 seconds on their phone. So tailoring lessons to technology is something that the community is going to have to get on board with, even if they are resistant. And another big issue is that it might not be possible yet for some school districts, which is sad, because that technology is out there and it's available and you can envision everything that it would do in your classroom. But if you don't have the funds or the resources, then it's just out of reach. And that's tough to handle as a teacher when you know that other schools are able to do this and give their kids those opportunities, and it's just not available to you yet. So I think that's a disadvantage, that it could frustrate some staff if they see all these innovations going on and they're just not able to keep up. So as far as cyberbullying goes, I definitely see it all the time. And it's just a fundamental thing with some kids that they just can't help themselves but put other people down or comment when there isn't really a need to comment. And I put the meme in there. Sometimes I'm just thinking, why? Why would you need to say that? And when you throw in the fact that they can say something to another student without having to be face to face to them, then they really get tough and they really get bold. And it happens all the time, unfortunately, and I think until you can change the mindset of kids individually, that it's going to continue to happen, which is sad. But without them personally checking themselves on bullying in general, I think cyberbullying is just something that we're going to have to try to continue battling. So that's my slide. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.